Is Zach LaVine a superstar in hiding or just another overpaid NBA player? The Chicago Bulls are betting $215 million that he's the former. But with whispers of trade talks and disappointing playoff runs, LaVine's got everything to prove this season. From all-star to all-time great? Let's break down how Zach LaVine can silence the doubters and remind the NBA why he's worth every penny of that max contract. Bulls fans, you're not going to want to miss this. Welcome to Chicago Bulls News, your go-to source for the latest updates on the Windy City's favorite team. Today we're diving deep into a topic that's been on every Chicago fan's mind, Zach LaVine and his mission to remind the NBA of his true potential. So grab your favorite Bulls gear, settle in, and let's break this down. Alright, let's set the stage. The Chicago Bulls have been through a roller coaster of emotions these past few seasons. From the excitement of acquiring DeMar DeRozan to the frustration of injuries and inconsistent play, it's been a wild ride. But at the center of it all has been our two-time All-Star, the high-flying, smooth-shooting Zach LaVine. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Zach's already proven himself, right? He's got the max contract, he's been an all-star, what more does he need to do? Well, buckle up, because we're about to explore why this upcoming season might be the most crucial of LaVine's career. Let's rewind a bit. Zach LaVine came to Chicago in 2017 as part of the Jimmy Butler trade. At the time, he was seen as a promising young player with elite athleticism and a sweet shooting stroke. Fast forward to today, and LaVine has become the face of the franchise, signing a massive 5-year, $215 million max contract in 2022. But here's the thing, with great contracts come great expectations. And while LaVine has shown flashes of brilliance, there's a growing sense that he hasn't quite reached his full potential. The question on everyone's mind is, can Zach LaVine take that next step and become a true superstar in this league? Now, don't get me wrong. When Zach's on, he's on. We've all seen the jaw-dropping dunks, the clutch three-pointers, and those nights where he just seems unstoppable. But consistency has been an issue, and that's what separates the good players from the great ones. First up, leadership. As the highest-paid player on the team and one of its longest-tenured members, LaVine needs to step up as a vocal leader both on and off the court. This means taking charge in crucial moments, holding teammates accountable, and being the guy who sets the tone in practice and in games. We've seen glimpses of this from Zach, especially in his interactions with younger players like Patrick Williams and Ayo Dosunmu. But to truly elevate his status in the league, LaVine needs to become the unquestioned leader of this Bulls team. Next, let's talk defense. Now, I can already hear some of you groaning. But he's an offensive player. I get it. LaVine's bread and butter has always been his scoring. But here's the thing, to be considered among the elite players in the NBA, you need to be a two-way threat. We've seen improvements in LaVine's defensive effort over the years, but there's still room for growth. Locking down opposing guards, fighting through screens, and being a more consistent help defender could take his game to new heights. Imagine a Zach LaVine who's not just dropping 30 points a night, but also shutting down the other team's best perimeter player. That's the kind of player who changes the course of a franchise. Now, let's move on to playmaking. LaVine has always been a score-first guard, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in today's NBA, the best players are the ones who can do it all. We've seen flashes of brilliant passing and court vision from Zach, but it's time to take it to the next level. Improving his assist numbers and becoming a more willing facilitator could open up the Bulls' offense in ways we haven't seen before. It would make him harder to guard and create more opportunities for his teammates. Speaking of teammates, let's address the elephant in the room, the fit with DeMar DeRozan. When the Bulls acquired DeRozan, many wondered how two score-first players would coexist. And while they've had their moments, there's still a sense that we haven't seen the best of what this duo can do. This is where LaVine's growth as a playmaker becomes crucial. By becoming a more willing passer and learning to play off the ball more effectively, he can create a more symbiotic relationship with DeRozan. Imagine a Bulls offense where defenses are constantly guessing whether LaVine will explode to the rim, pull up for a three, or make a pinpoint pass to a cutting teammate. That's the kind of unpredictability that keeps opposing coaches up at night. Now, let's talk about consistency. This has been the biggest knock on LaVine throughout his career. We've all seen those games where he looks like an MVP candidate, dropping 40 points with ease. But we've also seen those nights where he seems to disappear, especially in big moments. To truly remind the NBA of his potential, LaVine needs to find a way to bring his game night in and night out. This means being more selective with his shots, staying aggressive even when his jumper isn't falling, and finding ways to impact the game beyond just scoring. And that brings us to our final point, winning impact. At the end of the day, this is what separates the good players from the true superstars. It's not just about putting up numbers, it's about making your team better and leading them to victory. The Bulls have had their ups and downs since LaVine arrived, but it's time for him to prove that he can be the centerpiece of a contending team. This means stepping up in clutch moments, being the guy who wants the ball when the game is on the line, and elevating the play of those around him. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. But what about the injuries? What about the roster construction? What about the coaching? And you're right, those are all valid points. LaVine has dealt with his fair share of injuries, and the Bulls front office hasn't always put the perfect pieces around him. But here's the thing, the great ones find a way. They adapt, they overcome, and they make the most of the situation they're in. And that's exactly what Zach LaVine needs to do this season. So, what does all of this mean for the upcoming season? Well, Bulls fans, it means we could be in for something special. If LaVine can put it all together, the scoring, the playmaking, the defense, the leadership, we could be looking at not just an all-star, but an all-NBA caliber player. Imagine a Zach LaVine who's dropping 28 points a night, dishing out 6 assists, grabbing 5 rebounds, and playing lockdown defense. A Zach LaVine who's hitting clutch shots in the fourth quarter and pumping up his teammates during timeouts. A Zach LaVine who's leading the Bulls back to the playoffs and making some noise when they get there. That's the Zach LaVine that can remind the NBA of who he truly is and what he's capable of becoming. Now, I want to hear from you, Bulls Nation. What do you think Zach LaVine needs to do to take that next step? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get a discussion going. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more Bulls content. We've got big things planned for this season, and you won't want to miss it. Remember, this is CHGO Bulls Prove It, and Zach LaVine has a lot to prove this year. But if he can put it all together, we might just be witnessing the birth of a superstar right before our eyes. Until next time, go Bulls!